años de ventaja.
Caffeine and rapamycin. One's your morning lifeline, the other's a potent immunosuppressant used in organ transplants. On the surface, they couldn't be more different. One comes in a warm ceramic mug, the other from a lab vial. But at the molecular level, these two substances are showing up in the same conversations about longevity, healthy aging, and cellular stress responses. While they work through different pathways, caffeine primarily through AMPK and rapamycin by inhibiting TOR, both seem to converge on the same cellular goal, slowing the biological clock. Let's break it down. Rapamycin is the original anti-aging rock star in the world of nutrient sensing research. It works by inhibiting mTOR, mechanistic target of rapamycin, a central growth regulator that tells cells when to build, divide, and synthesize proteins. mTOR is incredibly useful in youth. It promotes muscle growth, reproduction, and healing, but over time, its constant drive for growth becomes a liability. Chronically high mTOR activity has been linked to accelerated aging, cancer, and inflammation. Rapamycin tamps this pathway down, putting cells into a more maintenance-focused mode. The result? Increased lifespan in nearly every organism tested, from yeast and worms to mice and possibly humans. Caffeine, on the other hand, isn't directly involved with mTOR. It takes a different route. Caffeine activates AMPK, AMP-activated protein kinase, the cell's energy sensor. When AMPK is turned on, it signals that energy is scarce and it's time to clean house, increase fat burning, improve insulin sensitivity, and initiate autophagy, the internal recycling system that helps cells remove damaged components. AMPK also indirectly inhibits mTOR, which creates a kind of biochemical overlap with rapamycin, though via a different upstream trigger. Think of caffeine as the coach who tells your cells to hustle and be lean, while rapamycin is the accountant who says, no new spending until the debts are paid. Now here's where it gets interesting. AMPK and mTOR are complementary but distinct. They don't operate in a simple seesaw fashion. Rather, they're part of a complex network that balances growth and conservation. AMPK activation is often associated with metabolic resilience, energy balance, and mitochondrial health, while mTOR inhibition leans more heavily into growth suppression, cancer resistance, and reduced senescence. In other words, caffeine and rapamycin aren't just two versions of the same thing, they're hitting different notes in the anti-aging symphony. And because of that, combining the two might be more effective than using either alone. Some researchers are already exploring whether low-dose rapamycin and natural AMPK activators like caffeine, metformin, or even exercise could work together to fine-tune the aging process without triggering dangerous side effects. This is especially appealing because rapamycin, while promising, carries some risks. It suppresses immune function at higher doses and needs careful management. Caffeine, by contrast, is widely consumed and relatively safe for most people, though its effects are milder and more short-lived. There's also a behavioral angle here. Rapamycin requires precise dosing and medical supervision. Caffeine, meanwhile, is self-administered by the population every single morning, and its AMPK-activating effects are reinforced by common habits like fasting, movement, or polyphenol intake, from tea, chocolate, etc. This makes caffeine a potentially accessible, low-risk way to gently nudge your biology toward longevity without venturing into prescription drug territory. Of course, no one's claiming your espresso shot is going to compete with a carefully titrated rapamycin protocol in terms of raw anti-aging power. But the mechanisms are biologically aligned. Both tap into the ancient circuitry of nutrient sensing, caffeine by mimicking low-energy, AMPK, and rapamycin by suppressing excess growth, mTOR. And together, they offer a compelling picture of how aging might one day be managed through a combination of lifestyle, diet, and targeted molecular interventions. So yes, they take different paths, but they might end up at the same destination: a body that grows more slowly, repairs itself more often, and resists the degenerative chaos of aging just a little longer. One molecule signals conserve, the other says don't overgrow, and your cells, caught between those two messages, may finally start making smarter decisions.